Welcome back to the Play vs. Fall 2020 High School Championship. My name is TJ.
And I'm Niberia. We got it that time,
got
TJ.
it. Second time's the charm. Well, we're heading into our second game of the day as we move over to Kentucky. And we have seen one of these teams before, so you're real excited. Before we get into that, though,
Okay.
Matt, I know you're overeager. We need to talk about the tournament format. It's a best-of-3 series, and of course it will be played on Summoner's Rift between two 5-man teams as one of our 29 state and regional leagues. All right, we're going to head into the draft, and Matt, tell me what you're excited about.
Okay, so first off, I'm going to intro the school I know less of, but after this season, I'll be able to have a fun rant about them as well. That would be Dupont Manual High School over on the left, the Manual Crimsons. And on the right side, we have the Lafayette Generals.
What's
up,
disrespectful.
TJ? What?
They are not Manual Crimson. They are the Manual Crimson's winners.
You know what, TJ? You're right. The Manual Crimson's winners.
That's very good.
Thanks. Anyways, Lafayette is really fun because we have cast them before, which means there's a familiarity there, which means I am predisposed to liking them. But also, their mid laner, shoutouts to Ricky, aka Anime E-Girl.
We got a spreadsheet when we were doing the Summer Showdown earlier this year that had each of the players' names and pronunciations listed. And it led to an instant love for the Lafayette mid laner.
Yeah, because everyone else, so the tabs were in order. It was first name, pronunciation, and IGN. So that's that. A lot of people use the middle one, say, how do we pronounce your name on broadcast? And a lot of people were like, okay, well, like Caliculary, I think was one of them. Okar, I know 100% filled that out and was like, it's Okar. But Ricky was like, it's pronounced Ricky. So the sheet ended up reading Ricky, Anime E-Girl. I think that's just fantastic.
Ricky, I promise to never mess up your name. Either of them. We'll get into our first pick phase here. It is Malphite in the top lane, joined by a Leona against it, Graves and Morgana.
I think this is going to be a fun jungle matchup at the very least. I haven't seen like a ton of Graves, which surprised me because before the item rework came out, he was super popular.
Oh, that's going to be Nunu coming through. I got the pointing right this side. That's going to be a Nunu coming through, which is really exciting for me because Nunu is, I think, one of the best junglers that's not actually being invested into right now. Graves is still fine. I've seen a fair amount of Graves on this and the previous post-item change patches, and the truth is that Graves is still a scaling threat that gets big and hurts in late game.
He sure is.
Kind of boring.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something interesting about him. And, pool party's his best skin. Because it is.
That's true.
Anime E-Girl, though, logging in the Nunu. It's very likely not being a Nunu mid, despite my best wishes. So Tumblr will probably be taking that one. Nunu's really strong just because of the amount of zoom possessed by that jungler. The ability to just travel across the map with that snowball. Okar, though, going to be securing that Misfortune down in the bottom lane. So Misfortune Leona, that's a really aggro lane.
Yeah, and they are giving Anime E-Girl the last pick here. It'll be into... Oh! What on earth? LeBlanc top?
It would
Orianna
have to be.
top.
I don't think Orianna top is any good whatsoever. So...
Well, it does mean that this last pick has more to consider. It's harder to give last pick over because there is that flexibility. It'll be a Ari grab for Lafayette. I cannot wait to see where Dupont put these two.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm expecting it's going to be LeBlanc top, if anything. But worth noting that this is a comfort pick here for Ricky on the Ari. Okay.
There was a visual glitch during the first phase. It was not an Orianna, it was an Orniana.
Yeah.
There's something there. Work with me. It's really an Ornn.
I kind of want to see Ornn's version of the Ori ball, because I'm imagining it's like much larger. It looks a little bit like a Death Star, but red. Not red, ochre.
I just thought of something that I can't say on the Play versus High School broadcast. So we are going to blast forward. Welcome to game. Woo! It's the worst thing when you think of a joke. You're like, man, I'm going to save that for later.
Save that for a different broadcast, TJ. That's the post show.
Man, we should get to do a post show.
We should.
Killicurry will stay ahead of the initial 5-man invade in the top lane. So when we did one of the big amateur leagues in North America, we had a pre-show.
I miss doing that. I miss.
That was a great use of time. We spent
It
like
really was.
15 minutes before the game started talking about which League of Legends characters would make the best podcast guests.
I think that was a lot of fun, and I miss getting to prep for the sketches. I miss getting to write them, because they were a lot of fun and something we don't really get to do as casters a whole lot, but they are definitely like one of the most fun parts of being a broadcast personality is when you get to do them. So
anytime you get a little more creative control, I think it's a lot of fun. There was a ward placed down here by Lafayette, so keep your eye on that. The implication of that is that the Graves' position will be known, but that'll be the case, I believe, on both sides of the map, as this Nunu does need a leash if they start blue, I believe. And so the absence of that, the fact that Okar and Doge, I assume? Doge are starting in that bottom lane, communicates quite adequately to Dupont that there is no bot side start. They take advantage of that. Look at Papa Roche right now, invading in to steal away the blue buff.
Shoutouts as well to Electier, who did not steal their jungler's red buff at level 1, as I did earlier today.
I know a couple Kaisas, actually one Kaisa, whose name's Matt Niberia Clendaniel, who steals their jungler's red buffs.
To be fair, though it was accidental, I think I did more with that red buff than our jungler would have, considering how he played for the rest of the game.
That's not true. He carried us.
That's also not true. You and I were playing 2 different games.
Oh my god, the world lines diverged. Electing
Mandela effect.
What was the player last game?
Oh gosh. Find out.
That's people will have conversations with me, and I've shared this complaint with almost every broadcaster I've worked with every time it comes up, where people will come up and say, oh man, remember during Series X, you were casting and such. And the honest answer is no. It is so difficult to keep track of what's happened while you are casting, because you're thinking of so many different things, you're trying to carry the conversation and doing so many different things in your head.
Yeah.
Creating long-term memory is not one of them.
Well, you know what, TJ? That's what today is for. We're creating long-term memories for the best League of Legends state finalists.
I like it. Papa Roche does show up here on the top lane. The Killicurry has like a weird amount of pathing problems. I don't know what that was.
No, that was really cute. And it was like working until he realized that there's no way that you survive through that.
You know.
Daddy Hamade,
Oh,
in a little
good
bit of
black
trouble.
shield.
Shit. Yeah, needs to flash a way to get away from that. But what Killicurry was trying to do was block Braves out. Meanwhile,
that makes sense.
bottom lane.
Electier will be caught out down bottom. Does flash away, timing it well. Tumbler underneath the turret. Will not go down. Neither does the defensive Electier, but Okar stepped too far forward and will be punished. Who would have thought at the end of all of that, it would be Lafayette's AD carry who goes down.
Unfortunate start to the game for the side of Lafayette. Dinos gives L's in the top lane, which I thought was Dino give L, and the S was just a space, but probably not.
Like one sound away from Dino Gazelle, which I would argue is great.
I like that. I'm suggesting a name change. Next time you get
Dino
13,900
Gazelle is my
BE.
rap name. You cannot have it.
I apologize. Have to talk with TJ's lawyer about that.
I don't have a lawyer.
Rap career not going that well.
I feel like actually having a lawyer is probably an important part of being a recording artist in this day and age.
Oh, 100%.
You may notice that we don't have items during this game. That, unfortunately, due to the way this all works, that was a mistake that was made a couple of hours ago, and we cannot change that. So, we're going to be living our best lives, guesstimating as to what these players will build. Hopefully it got changed before the next game happened, but we're going to unbox that too. It's like a Christmas present.
This is actually one of my favorite games, TJ. And last time this happened, we did this as well. Just trying to figure out what the mythic item is just by watching the champion interactions, because all of them have like really unique interactions now. It's not like this just gives you 5% more stats. It's this gives you 5% more stats, and it goes zoom.
That's what I look for in a mythic item.
A little bit of zoom.
Speaking of things that go zoom, Tumblr is currently playing the Nunu. Phase Rush Nunu, nonetheless. And I would like to put a lot of this game on them. Kill the carry. Maybe costing more of the game, though. Has to spend the Unstoppables, forced to disengage, and gets to safety by the hair on their chinny chin chin.
I'm just saying, corrupting potion mechanics on point. That's why you always pop your potion as soon as you get hit, ladies and gentlemen. Caliculary, the time warp tonic corrupting potion, really just absolutely saving the life out of them.
Didn't even blow flash. Like you wearing. I'm needing.
Having a rough lane though. I would not be surprised if the flash.
Really? How many CS are they behind?
TJ, I'm gonna guess. What?
Wrong.
I apologize. What is the correct number?
3.
Okay. Not as rough as I thought that.
Ocean Drake has come up here. Dupont.
Really is the interpretive dance of casting, isn't it?
Yeah. I could be right, I could be wrong. We'll find out later. Oh dear. Woo. That is going to be a good guess there in the mid lane for Anime E-Girl, but at the same time that there is success found in mid, there is disaster found from Lafayette towards the bottom side as the Drake will be picked up. Maybe I overhyped that. It's a mild inconvenience, more realistically.
There is mild inconvenience found for Lafayette High School. They will be struggling here a little bit, I assume. They're down 1,000 gold. I couldn't tell you from where.
How many items do you think they're behind?
0, because no one has items yet.
That's probably true. Wouldn't it be wild if somebody had an item, though?
I think you could get an Imperial Mandate. If you had
no, you are underestimating.
Blood.
No.
On a mid laner.
On a mid laner? Oh, yeah, sure.
It was,
why would you build Imperial Mandate on LeBlanc?
You know, don't knock it till you try it, TJ. I wouldn't recommend it. It's probably garbage. But...
I'm gonna knock it before I try it.
Oh, all right. I mean, that is directly countermanding the idea I set forth, but okay.
But knock it over like a Jenga tower.
Thought it was more like a cup full of water at the edge of a table. It's a casual cat slap down. Does your cat do that?
No, but also we're wise enough not to let our cat up on a table. So.
Put a glass of water on her cat tree.
Anime E-Girl has been winning out the matchup so far, Yuzakuri. Not only down 1 death, but also down a lot of lane control over the course of that.
Yeah.
That is kind of the only place where Lafayette are out ahead, though.
How do you know, TJ?
Sterling memory.
Pretty sure you just said something that contradicted that not 5 minutes ago. But we have a gank coming down here into the bottom lane. Follow-up snowball is the knockup. Stunned as well. Bullet time comes out. Flash away, but it is finished off there by Tumbler. The root comes in. Absolute zero as well. Okar and Doge having one hell of a bot lane now, as the Rift Herald is dropped on top of it.
Rift Herald will be summoned, and this is going to be at least 3 plates, maybe the 4th there. Going over to Lafayette's bot lane, and all of a sudden there are 2 lanes that Lafayette are winning.
That's twice as many as before, TJ.
You are correct about that, Matt Laveri, Flint Daniel.
I don't need to see the numbers for that one. And that'll bring their gold back in a line, which is really nice for them. But again, the disadvantage is primarily going to be up here on the top lane. Calicularia has been having a rough time, and it's not going to get a whole lot easier as the game goes on. You'll stop taking as much poke from Horn.
Oh,
yeah, Tumbler's gone. Bought by Yahoo.
got bought by Verizon.
Oh! Same joke, different timeline. Which one was it first? It was Yahoo, then Verizon?
It was Yahoo, Tumblr, the website, tumblr.com, if you're curious. It was bought, okay. He's just dead.
Okay.
Was bought by Yahoo, I think at its peak. I think when it was like still pretty big. And then Verizon took it over, and because of the way App Store policies worked, they imposed a whole lot of like filtering and content policies that I believe hurt their traffic, but also probably let them list the app on the App Store, so we're probably a net positive. I don't know how it's doing these days.
I know that the secondary sale when it moved hands was a like 10% of the initial valuation during the first purchase, so they were not doing great. Glad I don't know how they're doing now.
Unfortunate for Tumblr.com. Zenith Blade will go in. Solar Flare as well. It is the same combo and the same result. No HP remaining on Electir as they yet again are dropped into the dunk tank. And Lafayette now have a pretty sizable lead down here in the bot line.
Yeah, not going to be able to transition it into anything, but they're not going to need to. The jungler is rotating down, or should be, for this Drake, so I'm not sure about how I feel about Okar backing just there, but I think they reckon they can clear this one up pretty quickly with a Nunu. I tend to agree, but I am a little bit concerned.
We didn't talk about it because we were talking about Yahoo, but okay, I'm going to hold this thought. I don't want to fall further behind. There is a Drake currently being taken. In the top lane, Dinos did actually lose a trade, so Lafayette are winning now pretty solidly across the map. Drake will go over to them inside the pit. The call to Forge God's big. Everyone has to evacuate for fear of the absolute zero, and Danny Handmaid is actually very, very low, but the team fight itself goes to Dupont. A major shutdown passed over on from Okar, as well as Doge dropping out during that fight. Drake, though, to Lafayette. It's a mixed bag.
The team fight went absolutely disastrously for Lafayette. It was just not a position they wanted to be in. They didn't have the narrow corridor their composition is really looking for, because you're looking for, okay, they're all grouped into this spot. I'm going to ult in his Malphite, and then the bullet time follows up. It was none of that. Okar got shut down pretty much immediately. All the other carries followed suit shortly. And a first break really well timed here by Dupont Manual High School.
Okay, here comes the Vengeance Thug. Very good Black Shield again, but Hamid is in trouble as now there is no Black Shield available, and that will be the Zenith Blade through. Easy kill. Exhaust spent onto Elector. This turret has no HP. You would think the dive was possible, but Lafayette think otherwise. They will back away. That turret will fall in a moment. Oh, well, it's time to deny the back.
The most powerful use.
It also cleared the wave, so.
Yeah, I guess so.
I feel like Umari in the top lane still doesn't feel confident enough to walk up into this, so. Trade's still passing pretty even, but they have backup. Ricky, the anime e-girl themselves, will arrive in this top lane, and Dinos is charmed and shut down.
Maybe.
And shut down.
There we go.
Lafayette able to earn back the gold lead they lost in that bot lane, and now contesting for the Rift Herald. This is Papa Roche and Yarazuke too late. No, did get the Rift Herald. Good smite.
Really good secures coming in. I think it's been really impressive from Papa Roche. Granted, was not able to secure the dragon earlier, but to be able to win any objective fight against a Nunu is quite the tall task. So,
is Nunu the bear or is Willump the bear?
Willump the Yeti.
So, Nunu's the kid riding on Willump's back.
Mm-hmm. Well, the
How
champion.
come we always give credit to the Nunu then? Because Nunu isn't doing anything.
Well, he's throwing the snowballs.
Uh-huh.
And he's throwing the snowballs.
Look. I'm scared of the Yeti, not the kid throwing snowballs on his back.
You know what? But at least now it's Nunu and Willump. Before it was just Nunu.
I think we should just be referring to Nunu as Willump.
Yeah. I think it's a little late for that. On one hand, I don't want to discredit the work of a young child, but I also think young children should not be in labor positions. So,
Yeah.
I think we
Abolish child labor.
should. Yeah. I'm pretty
It's
sure
just
we did
Willump
that.
now. This is going to be the mid lane. Terra completely safe underneath the pressure of Lafayette as they collect their forces to receive what was a optimistic push. You do still have the Rift Herald, I believe, held by Papa Roche. I can't check that, but I believe held by Papa Roche. We will see where
Should
that
be.
goes.
It's either Papa Roche or Yozaruki. Yeah. Willump really zooming across the map. Man, Nunu, you really are just a freeloader. Get a job.
He's throwing snowballs. He's like, I'm helping. You're fighting a fire god demon thing. You think Ord notices when somebody throws a snowball at him?
Full AP. You bet.
No way. Like, even LeBlanc could walk off a snowball.
Yeah, she's like a court magician or something, so probably. Not that you need magic to walk off a snowball, it's pretty easy.
Exactly. My point was that LeBlanc's just like a normal person wearing no armor, in fact, not even wearing winter clothes. Or indeed very many clothes. And the point is, they would be fine if hit by a snowball.
Vision being cleared out away from this dragon pit, which means Dupont Manual should have their first access, first dibs, if you will, onto that objective. But unfortunately, in this modern day and age of League of Legends, that does not mean you will get it. So, we'll see.
It is not first come, first serve. Papa Roche does have that Rift Herald and is sitting on it. They're going to summon that in the mid lane right as the fight is about to break out. But here comes Willump with other ideas.
Looking in, the snowball will land onto Papa Roche somehow. Tumblr will
Had
initiate this
momentum.
Drake.
I'll
Ricky.
result. This is going to be Dupont trying to fight back in. Easy kill will be picked up onto the anime e-girl. And Lafayette just need to back away. Maybe an attempt can be made for a steal. That's kind of where we're living now. Call the Forge God will come through at the choke point. No HP on Doge. Killer Carry needs to back up. And that is a huge sudden impact. Just like that, the fight is over.
As is the Drake picked up there off the back of that by Dupont Manual High School. And now, Lafayette, this is the team we know and love, but they're having a real rough time right now.
Lafayette with a ever-shrinking early game lead. It started pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And I think...
you were
Yeah, I mean, it was every lane except Q area was doing really well off the back of Tumblr. roaming down.
I think we both need to recite Caligulary a couple of
Yeah.
times.
I'm having a time, TJ.
Same.
Yeah, everyone except Caligulary was doing
Yeah.
really great in lane, thanks to Tumbler, but really now that it's gotten into the team fighting aspect of the game, things are going south. Papa Roche looks in for the engage, flash away from Okar, very heads-up play there. Doge maybe looking for the re-engage, then Blade not going to land on the Papa Roche, who we now know is going Eclipse. And there's the bullet time coming in, tons of damage. We'll be able to find the shutdown onto Papa Roche. Yozaruki in a lot of trouble. Charm's not going to be able to land from Anime E-Girl, but the Q may be enough, just barely not. The healing from the potion keeps Yozaruki alive.
That is daylight robbery. Daddy Hammaze and Yozaruki both escape on like 20 HP?
Somewhere in there. Yeah. It was not quite enough. There's a beautiful snowball, though, to start off the engage here from Tumbler, who's having really the game of their life here. Absolute Zero will come in to provide a little bit of extra damage, but oh my god, Dinos is so tanky.
That's Orn, baby.
Sure
I
is.
guess.
There's a Kaisa here.
There was a case there. Not really usefully, but like
She
there did
sure
get
was
up there. Kept the turret safe, I guess. There could have been an attempt to take it. Tumbler would have had to do it alone, though, and Willamp isn't the best turret tank champion.
No, Yozaruki will secure the blue buff, go for a roam. Trying to look for something to hunt down. Has finished the Luden's Tempest I saw in the chat. So,
What is...
Hamade, what's up? You feeling okay?
Oh? It's working. Because of that... Okay, we're going to take a moment to talk about Tumbler instead, who's just Willamping up in the top side. And I would like to report, it is not going well.
I don't like that verb, TJ.
Willamping?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your distaste is noted.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Just sounds weird.
Promote
It's like the opposite of
Willamp you.
frolicking.
Yeah, that's, you know what? It exactly is an antonym to frolicking.
Yeah, Tom was really willimping around the office after that stock meeting.
Oh no, what happened in the meeting?
Oh, it just didn't go great. But I can't give investment advice. Wrong broadcast, but it's good practice.
Tumbler will stay ahead of all of this damage. Solar Flare does come through. Yozaruki is out in time. Daddy Hamade is not. So the carry will be tight on their heels. Lots of damage available, and so the kill goes through onto the Dupont support. But I don't believe anything more than that will happen. I think the entirety of Dupont is safe. They cut their losses. They get their carries out of there. So Lafayette have gained a little bit of gold, but not much else from that experience.
Now, off the back of that, Lafayette are slowly finding their way back into this game. I would note, though, that Dupont Manual really are still in control. This is the primary... Tumbler, you need to smite that, buddy, friend, pal.
No, he
All right,
does
cool.
not.
Sure, TJ. Right in front of the enemy jungler, that could have gone real bad.
Do not tell Willamp players what to do. They're just
apologize.
Willamping.
He'd really be Willamping if he lost that scuttle, so...
On the inside, Matt, I'm always Willamping.
That's your secret?
That's my secret. I'm
Oh
always
man,
Willamping.
we've got a new comic book.
Ryan hired
Willamp.
us to write the Willamp comic book.
It's like Shazam, but Nunu turns into Willamp when he's having a bad day.
Oh, that's messed up. I don't want to write that book.
What?
That's just Animorphs. You just invented Animorphs again.
I think it's closer to Ben 10, but yeah.
I rest my case.
Ben 10 was alright.
Drake will be available. And so, Dupont rotates to control it. Lafayette are, of course, here in force. They are currently lacking Anime
Tumbler.
E-Girl, which means they're down a player. Absolute Zero will be dropped. Tumbler's already gone. The bullet time claims damage, but nobody goes down. As a result, Dupont should be able to take this strike.
This is a really worrying trend beginning here for Dupont. or rather Lafayette. Dupont keep finding picks immediately before these fights. Someone on Lafayette stepped a little bit too far forward. Saw Caligari still saved with the ultimate, but this has started becoming an actual pattern and is going to be negatively affecting them going into the later stages of the game. Are they just going to start this?
It would really
guess so.
will them to be Lafayette right now.
Okay.
Half HP on the
That's
Baron.
sketch.
Do they have vision? Now they do. 2,000 HP on the Baron. In for the steal. Rooted.
Hoont.
1,000 HP. Oh, it will not happen. A successful Baron take from Papa Roche. A wonderful burst of damage to Secured and Caligari. And the rest of Lafayette just need to get out of here now.
Doge, I don't think. May be able to make it over the wall with the flash. Worth noting that Okar is going Gale Force, we have discovered. So, you know what? We're finding out more mythics. Unfortunately, the game won't be going long enough to make it matter because Lafayette are all but out of this game at this point. Down 4k gold.
I would caution that. Because yes, I'm with you. They are down 4,000 gold. But at the same time, 4,000 gold is not a... that is not out of the strike zone, in my mind, for a lucky team fight. And Lafayette do have a team comp that lends itself very well to synergistic team fights. If the CC from the front lines all lands simultaneously, you get a good absolute zero and a good bullet time, they're right back in this. And I will grant you that it will take a team fight wherein absolute zero and bullet time are both pretty darn good. But if Lafayette can engineer that, then they're right back in it.
Yeah, okay. In that case, I am behind you in this.
You want to know what I just learned?
What's that, TJ?
Caligari bought Abyssal Mask.
All right, we're learning.
That's actually really important because the way Abyssal Mask works right now is anyone who gets CC'd by you has a stack like Imperial Mandate, and they take, I believe, 10% more damage. So as you can imagine, the oh god, what's it called? Onslaught? Oh, Okar, you're in trouble.
Yeah, we're not gonna figure it out. Okar's dead before we can figure it out.
What's Malphite ult?
Unstoppable Onslaught.
Unstoppable Onslaught.
Or no, Unstoppable Force.
Unstoppable Force. I got you in trouble.
There you go.
But the Unstoppable Force, if it hits 4 or 5 people, then the Abyssal Mask procs on all of them, and then the bullet time follows through, shreds them, or something, hypothetically.
Yeah, if they can get there. The problem though at this point, TJ, is looking like the getting there bit, which is it turns out
get Yozaruki on the opposite side of it. They did not get Yozaruki.
Nope, not even close.
It really be Willimping down there.
Lafayette are having a really Willimping game right now. It really feels like they.
Oh, Caligari. We'll spend the ulti to escape, but they do escape. You know, as far as Baron pushes go, Lafayette, I think, can be all right with this. That has been the Baron spent. They did lose an inhibitor, but it was only one. And that means they're still in this.
I think it is worrisome here for Lafayette because they're going to have one heck of a time getting back into the game whatsoever. Like, even with that Baron push not doing great, it's still, they're down the inhib. They're down multiple kills. Actually, they're not somehow. What? After those fights? All right.
I mean, it's the gold difference, and it is the inhib, and you're absolutely right, the Lafayette are pretty darn far behind. The only reason I am edging caution, the only reason I'm saying, you know, don't count Lafayette out of this yet, is because they do have a composition that team fights well. And if you have a good team fight composition, anything is possible, regards to the LPL.
This is true. The question I'm having though is how they get back into that spot. I think they need to be the ones finding picks, finding fights, instead of being the victim of picks before these fights. This dragon may be a chance for them to do it, but they need to walk in as a group.
Yeah, I would say let Dupont start the dragon, and once they have shot behind him, you just wham bam Willem them. On the other hand, if they do not show up to contest that dragon, which they are not going to,
Cloud
Dupont
Soul.
will grab the Cloud Soul.
So that's all very well and good, TJ, but more importantly, one of the Ornn upgrades came out, and it's called Syzygy. I have no idea what that is. So,
Unstoppable
Oh
Force
my
will be
God.
spent. Killicari trying to stay alive. That very likely is the game. As now the picks will come fast and furious underneath the turret with Okar gone. Killicari out of the picture. I don't know how Lafayette can hold.
Syzygy was the Syzygy key as we see Papa Roach staying alive through all that damage. Doge
Why
now.
is Doge here?
I don't know. Just vibing. Papa Roach not going to get caught by that snowball. Anime E-Girl looking for a pick. Will not follow. Dino really takes no damage at this point, so the fight is all going Dupont Manuel's way. As a result, they are now going to find their way to the first victory in this best-of-3 series, putting them on match point for the state finals here in Kentucky.
Game 1 will be picked up in pretty dominant fashion. We had a back-and-forth early game, but Lafayette, despite drafting a teamfighting composition, were never able to find a good teamfight. And just like any other win condition, if you draft a late game win condition and you don't get to late game, or you draft early game and you don't win early game, if you draft team fight and you don't get good team fights, you will not win.
Yeah, I think the problem there was just they kept getting picked off before those major team fights, and as a result, you can't find anything. You know, if you're going into a 4v5, you're already asking for trouble if you even engage on that, but assume you do. Or assume you can. And that's where the problem lied, because you're down a member, you can no longer look for those flanks, you can no longer look for the unstoppable force because it was Caliculary a few times, and those are really, especially with teamfight compositions, the Wombo combo being missing a piece is really brutal. So that was, I think, Lafayette's problem that game.
Yeah. Lafayette do drop down, and that means we got time for a game 2. Dupont will be 1-0 up. If they win this next game, they are your Kentucky State champions. Don't go far. We will continue the series right after this 5-minute break. Welcome back to the full 2020 High School Championship. My name's still TJ.
Oh, and I'm still in Liberia. I guess we're still doing this, TJ.
I'm
Guess you still leave me out to dry.
I'm never going to introduce you again for the entire rest of our careers. Now that I know I can do this, I'm never introducing you again.
I just can't wait for the one time where I intentionally just sit there and wait.
You know I will outlast you.
I do, but that's what makes it good content. It's Caster Chicken.
You know I will sit there in silence because that will be hysterical to me. We're continuing with our Kentucky State final. We do have a 1-0 lead currently. Did anything stand out to you about that game one? Wherein Dupont took the win.
You got there, TJ. It was really gross what Papa Roche was able to accomplish, especially into a new jungle. I mean, you expect that to be, Papa Roche can find the 1v1s, can maybe find a little bit more gank pressure, but when it comes to the objectives, that's where the Graves is really going to falter. That was not the case. It was Graves taking objectives. It was Graves being able to contest the Nunu through not only just combat prowess, but being able to find good timings to interrupt. And I think that was really the highlight of that game for me, was being able to watch Papa Roche. Also, what a fantastic name.
They have a Daddy and they have a Papa on their team.
I know.
And I'm really proud of them and their two fathers.
Me too. I'm happy for them.
Ready to head into
twice
the
the
draft.
dad jokes, though, so I'm actually a little unhappy for them.
Yeah. We're ready to head into the draft for game number 2. Do you have any specific things as we move into it that you would like to see changed?
Put Calicuri on something else, man. That Malphite was rough. And I know Calicuri is capable of more. That is why I contest that.
Bumper, that wipe is just long enough that I thought I could get away with drinking water during it. And then I came back and I was like halfway through the action. Disaster.
Usually that's why you just need to have a comically large water bottle so that when it shows up on screen, it's interesting enough that you can take a sip from it.
He really does know the way.
Head-sized.
You need to just cover that in like garish branding of some kind, like selling a fictional or better yet, sell ad space. But
that's good.
Selling like something so loudly and garishly that
I could sell my own keyboards that way.
That's a good pitch. Matt Naviri Clendaniel makes keyboards. Hit him up on Twitter. Let's close out this band phase. It will be an Olaf, Jin, and Camille banned out by Lafayette. Dupont get rid of Garen, Annie, and Echo.
Age.
What?
Sorry, I like to do little word sorting puzzles. Like Scrabble.
Age, what? As in Annie, Garen, Echo.
Yeah. So you can do... This is why I'm good at bananagrams, TJ. I'm playing it constantly.
I'm very dyslexic and could not participate in this
I feel
activity.
really bad for you with bananagrams, because that would be even worse
is that
than
the
Scrabble.
one with the tiles that are in like a plush
and
banana?
You have to move them?
Oh god, I hated that with a passion. And it took me... I wasn't diagnosed until 2 years after it was a fun family activity that drove me to tears. And then I suddenly knew why. Let's talk about Graves, Oriana, and Vayne over on Lafayette as Dupont follow through with a Kindred, Ezreal, and Syndra. Syndra, I favor in that mid lane matchup. I also actually really like Ezreal into Vayne, and I actually really like Kindred into Graves. So overall, what I'm saying is Dupont are winning the draft for me.
I think that's fair so far, but I think the problem again is the way that Dupont were able to win the game last time was through the late game. This time it is a different win comp.
Well,
you're looking for a lot more early mid game focus, especially with Ezreal. So
you look inquisitive. I wanted to speak when you were done.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was staring. I thought very pointedly at you.
I can't tell. Oh, that's good. What I was going to say is I think Lafayette won. Obviously, their characters did better on the late game, but they also were very, very good as a pick composition. And that's what they're building again. A composition that can operate in small units, that can operate as different 2- and 3-man squads and find picks. And that's why I really like this draft so far, because they have the Kindred, who is the master of that. They have the Ezreal, who is infinitely survivable and can do that. They have the Syndra, who will need backup, but there is no better mage duelist than the Syndra. So, overall, big fan, especially as we close things out with a Nautilus and a Darius.
I agree with you. I'm really in the Dupont camp for the draft. We're seeing the Malphite being picked up again by Caligari, and I don't feel like that was a really great pick for him last game. And we have seen Caligari pop off before. We've seen Caligari perform in prior tournaments. The Summer Showdown, as you mentioned, also presented by Playversus. We have seen a lot of carry performances come out of Caligari, so putting him on a champion where not only did he not seem comfortable, but didn't seem to be able to affect much of the fights, once again going for that team fight concept with their composition. We'll see, but I really am favoring Dupont coming out of the draft.
All right, then we're on the same page. It's time for game number 2. As we kick things into high gear, Dupont need only one more win to be your Kentucky State champions.
Looking forward to this one, TJ. We get to see Darius again. This is we get to see him once before, but Darius is one of those champions that I really like seeing in professional play and never in my solo queue games, so I hate when he's meta, but also enjoy watching the VODs of when he's meta. Oh dear. Doge is gone. Goodbye. Daddy Hamade picked that one up, so that is, I think, actually the legitimately worst person to get first blood, but you know what? That's okay. Beefier Nautilus is in store for us all.
I was just kind of letting that sink in. Nautilus doesn't really mind.
Oh, that was a bad pun, TJ.
Thank you. Nautilus doesn't really mind that experience. I think obviously it sucks, but need a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger now.
Oh, this
Nautilus
is actually a
do a lot with
substitution since last game, TJ.
Yeah, that was what I was getting a little distracted by. I can't find the other player that was playing top lane.
Caligari.
Yeah, Caligari is listed as their top laner and aspired as their support on their Playversus profile, but in the sheet that they listed to us coming into playoffs, aspired is their official top laner, and they have no sub support or anything like that.
Okay, interesting. Maybe a role swap coming in end of the season.
I have no further information for you.
I thought you might pause it with me, but continue.
I don't believe in speculation. We're in journalism here. Speaking of journalism, one that led to us not being able to see items is still in effect, so it'll be a little bit of a rough ride. We'll try and get that fixed. I'm pretty sure it was fixed by the third game of the day, so hopefully when the time comes around for that, it'll all be sorted out.
God willing, TJ, because I'm gonna make guesses. I'm gonna make some calls right now.
That's unethical.
Sorry, TJ, I'm engaging in muckraking and yellow journalism.
No, muckraking and yellow journalism would be like going into team comms and starting fights between the teams in irresponsible places so that you could speculate as to what items they have.
Oh, well, that sounds a little bit more fun than just speculating, TJ.
Yeah, if you could go into team comms and leak jungle pathing, that's pretty good.
that's yellow journalism.
That's yellow journalism, baby.
So I'm going to be guessing we're going to see Sunfire in the top lane, boring. Probably Eclipse going on to Tumbler or Shield Bow. Shield Bow has been the more common one. It's gross on Graves. It's really gross.
Okay, look, you're trying to be a yellow journalist here. I would require you to rephrase that.
Shield bow
Vehemence, and
is
it's
an
going to
item.
get the reader killed.
Okay,
Those
so
are the two important things.
oh, okay. Shield bow is the most dangerous item that your kids can be building in League of Legends. If you find your kid building shield bow in League of Legends, you should disconnect their computer and throw it out the window because it is haunted.
Woo! Now you can write for, I don't know, any of the one of the tabloids that went out of business in like the 80s or something.
Oh, it could be just, what's the European or the English one? The Sun?
I was specifically avoiding calling out modern day tabloids, but yes.
Yeah, but it's the Sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone knows. No one's confused by that.
Yeah. We're going to kick things off with a juggle gank in the bottom lane. Doge in trouble as Danny Hamid comes through. But never fear, Tumbler is here.
Teleport.
Haymaker will land. CP into the backlines of this fight. Doge very low, will stay alive. Here comes the Inspired as Doge is already down. Danny Hamid, the opposing support, will go down in trade, and this frontline fight is being cleaned up by Aspired. This is going to be disastrous for Dupont, as they will lose 3 players in the first fight of the game.
Really well played there from Lafayette, able to find the teleport behind. As soon as they realized they were matching the gank, but didn't quite have the advantage, coming in from Aspired, not having the ultimate just yet, but it didn't matter, just the man advantage was enough, and now they're going to have a slight lead coming into this dragon.
Okay, what did Dinos get from that, though? That's my question. Because Dinos got, like, really scary that last game. And they, I believe, could have interrupted that TP. I was just watching on the minimap. I didn't actually have the information. But I believe it was possible to interrupt that TP, so I'd be curious how many plates they got in trade, and if we could track how worth it that was.
As that wave was shoved in, it was looking like 1 plate. I want to see... Yeah, just the one. I think if Dinos is able to get a key component to their mythic item, that may still be worth it, because Darius has the tendency of, soon as they hit 6, just absolutely popping off and destroying enemy top laners. Especially Malphite, who really struggles with defensive stats until you get to around level 9. When you start putting some more levels into the W, Q is maxed, and you actually have some armor items to speak of. So we'll see.
If you're just joining us for the first time, watching League of Legends for the first time, it's a game about collecting plates.
It's very nice. But not like the plates in Beauty and the Beast. That'd be messed up.
Once again, we oppose child labor here on this broadcast.
Yeah, actually, it is kind of messed up that, like, Chip was just there and was a servant still.
Uh-huh. But, you know, it was set in, like, vaguely 1800s Europe. And spoiler alert, there was a lot of messed up labor practices in 1800s Europe.
I guess it's progressive that Chip wasn't in a coal mine instead. So, you know what?
Yeah. It's a pretty good job.
Shout outs to Beauty and the Beast. Not the live action movie, though. That was rough.
Shout out to Emma Watson for ethically employing
no.
her child laborers.
Only shout outs because that's her version of music.
Okay. That's an awful thing to say about Emma Watson.
She was really bad, TJ. I really try to be nice and generous to actors, but she should not have starred in that movie because she cannot sing.
For more musical hot takes, follow Matt on.
That's not a hot take.
Snapchat?
That is the coldest take whatsoever.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Good. Hearing it was painful enough.
I'm in the minority, though, because that movie made a lot of money. In the meantime, we have had the first Drake of the game successfully picked up by Dupont. That would be an Ocean Drake in their pocket, and that neutralizes the gold advantage that was gained down in the bottom side. Again, we can't track exactly where that gold is going due to an unfortunate error earlier today, but we can tell you that I suspect a lot of that is on Dinos. I suspect quite a bit of that lead is CS and plate gold. Man, how did we get onto from plates I'm just like, because we're back where we started. That was the point I was originally going to make.
Beauty and the Beast, TJ. Beauty and the
Right,
Beast.
okay. But, like, how did that happen?
Because I thought about Chip and Mrs. Potts.
You know what? It's going to be bad. We're going to stay ahead of the game here.
Okay.
The point is, I think Diners probably has a gold lead up top, and you should watch out for this Darius as we head into the mid-late game.
How many plates does he have?
Probably ethically employs 2 to 3.
Okay. That was going to be my next question, was how many were actually humans transformed into plates by a curse?
But
Oh?
when Darius, I suppose, meets the love of Darius's life, they're going to be transformed back into humans and live the rest of their life happily ever after.
Nice.
And my E-Girl running for their life in the mid lane as we do have a jungle rotate in. That was Papa Roche showing their face for, I believe, the first time in that mid lane.
Mm-hmm.
Early ganks targeted that way are a good sign for Yorizuki, who will need support versus an Orianna, but with the right boost can become terrifying come late game.
I'm really interested in the next few minutes here for Dupont. I think they're crucial, especially around the next Drake. If you're able to secure the second Drake, I think Dupont are very likely just going to win the entire thing. You need to be able to snowball with this composition, and so far it's like kind of happening. We assume there's a lead up in the top lane, but it's a 400 gold difference total across the entire team. And unless we see a significantly larger lead, I don't think we're going to be seeing a Dupont victory. So I would really expect them to be amping up the action in the next few minutes.
We have a Rift Herald available here, which I'll bring up because, again, I suspect there's a lead in the top side to Dinos. Oh my lord, it doesn't show, though. That trade didn't go particularly well. I can tell you who's built early armor items. Even
That's
without
Malphite, baby.
seeing the stats screen, Aspired certainly has a very high armor rating.
Yeah, and I think Dinos, there are answers to this, not only in Darius's kit, but in his itemization. His E gives some physical rending, and he will probably go into Black Cleaver second.
Just laughing at the Darius standing there staring out at the wave.
It's like an
like
album
Ben
cover.
Well, I was thinking of that photo of Ben Affleck. Oh,
Staff
true
flag.
shot! That was
Happy flag.
disgusting! The true shot combo guarantees the kill in the bottom lane. A minus Okar. Doge is going to get hooked forward as well. Beautifully done. And a beautiful double to Electera.
Beautiful, beautiful double, as you said. That is beautiful use of Ezreal's entire kit. It was beautiful, TJ. You know what else it was? Beautiful.
I would agree. Here comes
Electier,
the attempted retribution. Tumbler in lane. Oh, already hooked up. The Unstoppable Force will go through. And that should be a double in response. Somewhat less graceful, but there's a synonym for you. Somewhat less graceful, but equally effective in the gold count.
beauty
And
is fleeting,
perfectly
TJ.
timed for this Drake.
Beauty is fleeting. And that's why Electier had to die. So now respawning for the Drake. Really mistimed use of that. So next time you want to prove a saying right, maybe don't do it before the Drake. But Papa Roche going to be able to get out of there thanks to the hail of arrows very quickly.
In general, I think philosophizing in front of dragons has been at least
Historically, a
through-
pretty bad idea.
Yeah. The legends that have survived to us, been a pretty bad idea.
Well, I feel like the legends where the dragon was just like, hey, you know what? I think you're right. Those are less fun to tell.
Right. So maybe there's a bias in what stories get passed down.
Yeah, it's like survivorship bias with getting famous. You know, you don't want to hear about the person who was like, yeah, I was like kind of doing okay, and then I decided, you know what, this isn't worth the effort anymore. And then I went back to my job as a mechanical engineer, and now I'm very happy.
I was going to ask, who's that? But then I realized they're not famous.
Exactly. You wouldn't know them, TJ, and they're okay with that.
I'm proud of this person.
Me too.
Wave down bottom has been successfully cleared repeatedly by Electir, and that means that we're still shoving. And I think that means we need to shift our focus towards this bottom lane.
Beautiful engage.
Where it
There's
is
the kill.
starting to get real ugly. Electir does so much damage, man.
Now Tumbler, in a little bit of damage of their own, will be able to find Daddy Hamade. Electir was looking for a little bit more, but will be backing off quite wisely.
Should have pulled out the opera glasses so they could look better, Matt.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine watching an opera in this day and age, TJ?
Yes, I watched one the other day.
Really? Which one?
On the television.
Which one?
I don't know. I tuned in halfway through. Oh.
I only know like 2 or 3. I don't think I could do the full going to the opera thing. I think I could do it like a movie where you sit there and like get popcorn sometimes.
The engage here. Urizuke blowing up Anime Eagle. I don't know who caught that. It looks like Roche did land the smite. In the meantime, up top, Okar is trying to stay alive.
Whoa!
What a good combo.
Tumbler, are you okay? Not dealing with the merger well.
There's damage to go every which way. As a result, this turret's going to go down. Because they're all up top side.
So Dupont able to find something out of that on top of the Rift Herald, that bottom turret going down as collateral damage. So this is
it's
more
hard to... Sorry. You want to finish your point first? Or
I would, TJ, if you give me the courtesy. I was just saying this is more like the mid-game we were looking for. Now, you had something to say if you'd like to continue.
I did, thank you, Matt.
Of course.
It's hard to quantify the effect that these early team fights have, because on one hand, it looks real good. Lafayette did just find a sick engage, 2 kills. But because they traded out an entire turret for it, and that turret gold went to Electir, who was already, to be clear, a monster, and they lost the Rift Herald, which will very likely mean that there's going to be another turret into Dupont's pocket in the near future. It's hard to say who that actually helped.
Yeah, and I think going into the next few minutes of the game, we're going to start seeing the knock-on effects from that fight. You know, this is where we're going to start seeing Electir work towards that Muramana if they did not already start it, and should see that upgrade in somewhere between 2 and 4 minutes from now. And I think from that point, that's where we're going to start to see the effects of all these early game plays. That's where we're going to see where the game has shifted. Around that 20-minute mark, if Dupont Manual is not massively pushing down towers, finding objectives, then I think the forecast is not great, but I suspect they will have these things sorted.
So, full back up top side, they decide not to run forward. Dupont, you're looking at, oh, where should that Rift Herald go? You're sitting on it right now, aware that the Drake is about to come up. So Dupont are going to run forward, hopefully, down the mid lane, drop the Rift Herald as the Drake comes up, and force Lafayette to choose between their turret or their Drake.
Not quite as dramatic as their turret or their lives, but it's the made-for-TV version of that plot.
Yeah, when they adapted it. Oh, my God. Electir is doing so much damage, by the way.
That's gross. That's Divine Sunderer for you.
I don't know
Divine
about that
Sunderer
Rift
first
Herald
over
summon. Wasn't maybe the best Rift Herald summon, but it will get the turret nonetheless.
Actually, I think any opportunity to just put down damage right now, Electir, if you're looking at the little star on Ezreal's hand, means the Muramana transform has completed alongside the Divine Sunder. So these Qs are doing about as much damage as they ever will this game compared to health bars. So
3-man stun from the Unleashed Power. This Drake is risky, though, over the wall for the attempted steal.
Blue team
Works out.
steal.
Lafayette get it. Lamser Spike will be laid down in the midst of this fight. Papa Roche stays alive. Flashes out of the pit and survives. Tumbler at the front lines gets a kill, but how much longer? Because Dinos is on a rampage. A double kill before they fall. They stay alive. It gets worse. Electir dominating the fight from the back lines. And just like that, it will be a complete ace. 5 for 1 in the trade account as Dupont come out dominatingly on top.
That's going to feel real good for Dupont. Sure, you lost the Drake, but that is a ton of gold in your pocket. That is a ton of presence on the map. We can already see Dinos heading back top. And the mid lane is being decimated here by this 80 carry mid combo. And that turret is not going to be hanging on for much longer. They will finally fall. And now, despite losing the objective, Dupont are up somewhere in the neighborhood of 5k gold. And this is a really good spot to be in. We can suspect a lot of that is going to be on Electier, but Dinos as well was able to pull a lot out of that fight, as was Papa Roach. So I think Dupont is in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to set this up. And we spent the entire time that it looked like Lafayette were winning, kind of attaching the addendum that, well, Ezreal is really doing well in the bot lane. And that's kind of scary. And, well, actually, when you think about the Rift Herald, the gold is kind of skewing towards Dupont. And now you're starting to see the dividends. In that fight, Dino basically got 3 kills. The third was Anime E-Girl into Stasis, so didn't quite get the conversion, but certainly got more than that in the assist column. Certainly will have a ton of gold off of that fight. Electier was just terrifying, as you said, at the power spike for Ezreal. And in this patch, if you are pub stomping Ezreal, you don't fall off, which isn't normally relevant to competitive play, but maybe about to be. Because if Electier can keep this momentum going, can keep grabbing gold and kills, often one and the same, that damage will continue far longer than it has any right to in a competitive setting.
And I think it all depends on the itemization path of Electier right now. Knowing that they are so far ahead, I would not be surprised if they go for...
How do you feel about their itemization?
Actually, considering I saw they built a Tiamat, I feel pretty good. I think this is the proper build. It's Muramana into Divine Thunder into Tiamat. This is going to be a ton of AoE damage in teamfights, but they can't solo contest this Baron, as it turns out.
That's why their team is walking around the side. That's why Papa Roach just showed up to blast cone in. Oh, this is going to be close. Lamb's Respite is available, will be dropped. There's a chance to steal this. 1,000 HP. Papa Roach still alive. Does he get the steal? He does not.
Tumbler got it.
Drake goes over successfully to Lafayette, and they are doing all right in the team fight. But as Tumbler leaves, as Doge leaves, they suddenly find themselves a little lacking in damage versus the long-range poke that Yozuroke can provide on the Syndra.
One
a double
more.
Kill over.
The stun.
One more. Doge stunned up. Hooked back in. A triple kill.
Ace comes out off the back of it as well. That Baron is not going to be sitting too great there for Lafayette, considering Dupont just clean house immediately afterwards. So beautiful response to that objective by Dupont, but really good initiative from Lafayette to know that they could take that, knowing that Dinos does not have teleport, and therefore there would always be a man disadvantage in the full team fight.
And what I'm really excited by is the fact that Dinos didn't even try to get to that team fight.
Just kind of powering away on that bot turret. To be like, you know what? This is my job. I'm not paid to go to Baron fights, so I'm just gonna... My job is to stay down here in the bottom lane. Gonna do what I was paid to do.
Dinos is on a union set. I'm really proud of Dinos.
Yeah. Really good place to be. Good units.
As a result of Dino's presence in the bot side, there is another turret missing. Dinos will be even more scary in this next fight, because they certainly did get a lot of gold during that time. And we got ourselves a Drake coming up, so there's never been a better time to be power spiking into team fights than right now. Dupont are going to get to fight another one.
And in this team fight, I want everyone to watch Electier. Has just completed the Ravenous Hydra, so the amount of healing coming out alone is going to be ridiculous between a Ravenous Hydra and Divine Sunderer. But on top of that, the amount of AoE damage coming out just from those Qs onto closely tight group will be disgusting. With that said, it seems like Lafayette have preempted this by just not being anywhere they can be fought.
Yeah, honestly, kind of a good response from Lafayette. They'll send their forces up, hoping they can catch somebody split laning. Nobody's here, but worst case, they'll probably get this turret. Unfortunately, Dupont seems to be calling their bluff. They send 2 players back to stop this turret from going down. and the remainder of their team is just accelerating down lane. We'll see how much the two that were sent up top can stall this out as Papa Roach shoves down mid lane turret. Both Electir
stopping
and...
backs.
Yeah, they are successfully stopping the backs multiple times. What a good depth charge.
This is brutal. Look at the bottom lane tower. They're not going to be able to contest this. There's so much damage coming out from Electir, and the backs are continuing to be stopped. Finally, it looks like Okar may be able to get one off. I don't think it was enough time that they bought, so we'll not be able to find the inhib off of it.
Oh, he gets it. Two players still stunned up here, and here comes Yozoroke. You won't see the Haymaker kill the Daddy Hamade. You just see a true shot burn through Tumblr's HP. And this actually
what a good hook.
Is going to continue to get worse. Doge is going to go down here. Haymaker will provide a lot of shielding, but Electir has just shown up as the Dupont players who were previously sieging on the bot side match the rotate up, find a free kill, and are in pretty dominant control of this game now.
They're rotating back around, and now that Electir has that completed Ravenous Hydra, the wave clear coming out of this Ezreal is a thing. So they're going to be able to find picks in the mid lane as well. Unleash Power going on to that Vayne, who is very wisely built shield bow. Very helpful in this game. But that will be a massive cooldown down in that shield bow. Yozaruki's ult will be up sooner. So lots of advantages claimed out here by Dupont, who will be able to now basically take control of the jungle of Lafayette. And this is one of the most underrated ways to get an advantage in League of Legends, is just wipe out their jungle. Their jungler will have nothing to farm, and as a result, their team as a whole struggles for income.
And there's nothing that feels worse as a jungler than just having literally nothing to do.
I'm so used to it. I've played jungle like 5 times for the past 2 days. It's been awful every time. I'm like, I'm not going to play jungle anymore. And then I realized that Xin is still in the game, and I'm like, I kind of want to play jungle.
You're playing jungle Xin Zhao?
Yeah.
No wonder it's a bad time.
Well, I was playing like Rek'Sai and Shaco. Both of those are garbage in the jungle right now. Okay, Rek'Sai's fine. I'm just a bad Rek'Sai. I'm a fine Shaco.
Fine as well.
Jungle Shaco's really rough.
Okay.
It's really, really rough.
I thought you were kind of into that.
Not. Look, going into a very disadvantaged game, TJ, feels good when you can come out on top.
Right.
It really is getting to the point where just picking Shaco reduces your win rate by like 17%. And I'm already not great at jungle. It used to be that being a good Shaco could win you a game where you're a bad jungler. No longer the case. So, been rough.
I feel for you. Is what I'm supposed to say. Why don't you learn to play good junglers? Nerd?
I tried.
Baron's
I'm not very good at them.
Sorry. Baron's up in 30 seconds as a result. We're going to see Dupont probably push for the end here. They don't have much to do until that time, but they'd like to find a pick before the fight began. Lafayette, conversely, would like to find an isolated pick here because it would greatly improve their odds of staying alive in the series. Does Dupont push for the state title?
Looking for a little bit more here. Ooh, beautiful stun from range onto Doge. Flash away will be enough for the time being. Beautiful depth charge as well. Ultimate not going to find the execute there for Dinos, but we'll be able to zone out Anime Eagle. Now looking into the back of this fight, Electir is just entirely unpunished here in the back line. Anime Eagle on such low HP, and Dinos is just chilling out in the Nexus towers. Finally forcing Okar back. The stun will land from Daddy Hamade onto Tumblr. The double kill comes out. And sure, Dinos lost his life for it, but great team fight coming out from Dupont.
A great team fight indeed. What Baron? There are no Barons necessary. Dupont will march onwards and take the inhibitor. Now we're gonna go get the Baron. Well,
yeah, I was with you on that one. I was like, oh man, they're going for the win. They're just gonna shove it in. No, not yet.
I mean, they're probably right. They would have had to get a kill in order to stagger the backs.
Yeah, they're probably right. It's just like not as fun. I mean, for us, but for them, like winning is probably more fun.
I mean, some people say that losing is just as fun because you learn a lot from.
Yeah, but those people are losers named TJ.
I don't think I say that.
You kind of do. It's so funny because earlier today we were playing that game and the entire team apparently, I found this out in the post game, was just raging at each other the entire time, just at each other's throats. And I was just like, this is a great game. I'm having so much fun. I'm having a blast. Turns out nobody else was. So
Mute all is the most powerful weapon in solo queue.
go into the interface key and just turn off ally chat and all chat.
Baron will be up here, and we will be away. Lafayette really should be worried about this. I don't think they could feasibly stop the Baron, but I think you have to throw that Hail Mary
Maybe
because...
stick a ward.
Well, the odds of winning don't get higher if you don't fight that Baron. They're low percent either way, but getting a Miracle Baron steal is more likely than holding on to your base against a 5-man push with Baron, in my opinion.
And I don't think you can even bank on the Hail Mary of the Vayne scaling it.
Although, if
find a pick
Papa
like that.
Roche just wanders into your jungle, and Dino just walks up to Okar, maybe, despite everything, Lafayette can keep this going.
Showstopper goes in. Shockwave will land onto just Hamade. Electier in the back line, able to put down one, and there should be two here as Aspired has to flash away. The jump forward from Electier, who is unafraid entirely of any consequences for that forward positioning, nor should they be. He'll be able to push in that wave and very safely poke out from the back lines.
Dinos did not go back to base. If you're wondering, they just left the fight with the Vayne because it sucked.
How'd they get out?
This scene, I don't know, he just walked away.
How?
He decided that scene wasn't doing it for him. Hopped on the Muni.
Oh, what a stun. Follow from
God.
Electier. Kudos like 90% of someone's HP with a single Q at this point. Oh, and has the Cyrilda's Grudge as well. Disgusting amounts of damage coming out. Look at that. Even onto Aspired. Oh my god, it's gross. Turn it off.
Let's try him. Ooh, good combo will come through. Dino's looking for the follow-through as the bait from Electier was successful, but they're unable to spring the trap. Electier has to be the hammer himself to find the kills. That will be two as Yozaruke picks off the Vayne.
Depth charge.
Now depth charge onto Tumbler will seal their fate. And Aspired is the only player left on the map. They'll join their team on the grey screen. And just like that, Dupont will be your Kentucky State champions.
A beautiful, beautiful second game off the back of their AD carry. Electier, the hard carry coming in there. And beautiful gameplay from the entire team, able to rally around that win condition and keep Lafayette down despite a little bit of a rough tumble in the early mid. They were able to pull it back and able to just absolutely smash through the competition. So congratulations to Dupont Manual again for winning Kentucky State Championship. Very excited for them.
If you are curious about that little freeze that happened there, that happens when the opposing team surrenders, which they very understandably did a couple of seconds early. So, no shenanigans. Dupont Manual with a well-deserved 2-0 win, and that will be our second series of the day. Over and done with, Matt. As we head towards our final games of the day, do you have any further thoughts to wrap that up? I think that was actually a really good series.
It was a really good series, and Ezreal's a really good champion, and I want to see more of him. I'm hoping we can get to see some in the next series.
All right. Well, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, it is one more game of the full 2020 High School Championship. But before then, if you're sitting on break and you're wondering, man, can I enroll in the next season of Play Versus? Well, I have great news for you. Head on over to playversus.com and you can sign up for the Spring 2021 season. Play starts on March 1st. For now, have a great little break. Go stretch your legs. We'll be right back with more games after this.